Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia and this is TransurfingTV, y'all. Today, virtual management. Dun dun dun. The thing that nobody wants to think about, that we are spending way too much time on our phones and on the internet scrolling mindlessly, and this phone, this internet, creating our reality for us. That's what it really boils down to. And if you have not watched the documentary A Social Dilemma on Netflix, I would highly recommend it. It's a pretty negatively skewed documentary, just to let you know. It's very scary, talking about what is happening to us psychologically, how we're being manipulated by entities like Facebook and YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Our phones, our iPhones, the internet, all the stuff, social media. And as Xavier Waterkane said on the Facebook group when I made my post speaking out about overusage of phones, he said, don't throw the baby out with bathwater. And I actually created this video about 10 days ago, and it didn't air because I was like, everybody get off your phones now. They're killing us. It's a pendulum, it's in your mind, you must detach. And I realize you can manage it, but it's gonna take a little bit of, navigation, right? You're not gonna just, I'm in the process of managing mine, and I will admit it's challenging because Facebook, YouTube, the phone, all this stuff has thought of very cunning and creative ways to mess with my mind and mess with our minds. So it's definitely a work in progress. I will say that, but I have implemented some parameters for which I use my phone and the internet, and it seems to be working well. I'm still working on the time thing, but I'm going to get into all that in a moment. Remember to like this video, subscribe, and comment below. My world is taking care of me to enter my daily giveaway for my reprogramming stickers. And I'm going to read you my list. I'm going to do this after I go over this. But I wrote some phone rules for myself and why I'm doing this. And this is very clarifying. It's also very scary. And I'm going to tell you something that happened in my family that is very sad, and it will give some answers as to, I know I've alluded to the fact, that my mom and I are no longer speaking, and this is really what it boils down to. And I know this sounds crazy, but Facebook is the catalyst for this happening, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. So, virtual management. These are a few questions to ask yourself. These are questions that I asked myself a couple of weeks ago and helped me to sort of start to make sense of my relationship to my phone, social media, and the internet. So the first thing is the content that you are consuming. In the documentary A Social Dilemma, they really went over the sick idea that we are referred to as users by like Facebook and YouTube, just the same as like drug users, because it is kind of like a drug, right? So we're referred to as users of this thing, and what we are taking is content, right? So there is a vast array of content or reasons that you are on your phone. Some of them are probably very good for you, and then some of them are probably very bad for you, right? For me, all my businesses are online based. So my livelihood exists on, my livelihood depends on the phone. My excuse for a lot of years with how much time I've spent on my phone is that I have to be on my phone, right? My businesses are on my phone. But the reality of it is I would look at my business stuff for a few minutes, and then I would switch over and look at something that was not good for me, right? And I would just sort of throw it in with the pile of, oh, I'm at work. But I wasn't, and I was bullshitting myself, and it was time for me to really wake up and look at what I was consuming, what I have been consuming exactly. So this is what I asked myself, is it good for you? What is good for me and what is not good for me? And starting to form some parameters in which I'm going to live by in regards to the relationship I have with my phone and the internet. Does it support your higher good? So is scrolling Instagram or doing something mindlessly, is it for your higher good? Now, watching a video like this or another self-development video or looking at something online with the intention to connect with something that is going to support your higher good. This is really where management comes in, right? Is asking, is this for my higher good? And then sticking to that. Is what you are consuming forcing you to choose something? So I'm talking about politics, divisive, polarizing politics of two sides, vehemently going after one another. And this is where my Achilles heel is. The stuff that I tend to look at online, I'll just call it out here. Instagram is my big one, and I'm going to tell you how I manage my Facebook, so maybe you guys can benefit from the little system I've set up on Facebook. But Instagram's still my Achilles heel. I look at political stuff that is very, very, very polarized and wants me to hate the other side and pulls that human stuff out of me, right? Oh God, they're so stupid. How could they be so stupid? So does that support my higher good? No, it doesn't. Me taking a divisive stance on something does not support my higher good. So if it's forcing me to choose, if it's content where it's like, we're right and they're wrong, then that's probably not a good thing. And I'm going to get to exactly why that isn't a good thing in a moment. How is it affecting your time? So this is a big one. I see lots of people complaining on Facebook in the group that their reality isn't what they want it to be, that they're not successful, that they don't have the romantic relationship that they want, that they're not feeling fulfilled. Yet they're sitting on Facebook, listening to, typing things out and talking to people and not doing anything. So if you're struggling with some area of your life, how can that time be applied to that area of your life, taken away from mindless hours of social media or looking at stuff or watching YouTube videos, right? How can you actually start using your time wisely to fix some of the crap that's wrong in your life or perceived to be wrong in your life? Now, if you're scrolling social media mindlessly and you're okay with that, and you're doing it with awareness, and you're understanding that other areas of your life may be suffering, that's totally fine. If you are aware of that, and if you are understanding of that, and if you are accepting of that. If you are complaining about something not being right in your life, and you're doing this online, obviously, it's time to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because spending too much time in social media is bad for your layer of reality. Come on, guys. So does it create an alternate reality for you? And this is really where it's coming down to for me. When I am on social media, looking at divisive content that's forcing me to choose or look at a group of people as though they're wrong, right? This is my phone, what I am consuming, what I'm using as a user. This is creating an alternate reality for me. And reality creation, the whole of reality transurfing, is you deciding what is in your layer of reality, you choosing what is in your layer of reality, and you creating your own reality for yourself by focusing on what you strive to achieve rather than what you don't want, and really highlighting the information, material, and evidence that's prevalent in your external environment that is going to support your higher good. Being forced to choose, something else creating an alternate reality for you, something taking your time away from you if your life isn't what you want it to be, this is not you creating your reality. This is not you choosing. This is exactly that Deepak Chopra saying that I love so much. Choose your own reality, or one will be chosen for you, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. So quickly, what happened with my mother? So my mom decided it would be a good idea to attack my brother, who is a California Highway Patrol officer, and say publicly bad things about him being a cop because she went BLM and decided that all cops are bad and went the whole hog on the thing, which she does very, very often. She's always flip-flopping from thing to thing, and she's an identitarian, right? She gets so immersed in that outer screen that she doesn't see what's really of value, and she makes very, very, very stupid decisions based on emotion in the outer screen, which is really bad, and a lot of people are actually doing that right now. So she decided that it was time that she took a stand and all cops are bad, and that means her son too, which is, in my opinion, my brother is salt of the earth, one of the best people I know. How you could say anything negative about him, I have no idea. I stood up for him. And on Father's Day, she decided that she was going to tell him that she was no longer his mother and she wasn't going to support law enforcement, and she disowned him. And then she disowned me because I stood up for him. She didn't want to grovel anymore. So this is what happened, and this is exactly what I'm talking about here. The Facebook and the divisive content that she's consuming as a user forced her to choose a side. She did it very, very willingly because, again, outer screen, snail responsiveness, doing exactly what Tufte tells us not to do in this book. She let her divisive content that she chose to consume create her reality for her that had actual consequences in her real life. Okay, so if you're experiencing consequences in your real life, it's probably time to manage your virtual life. So what I did, first of all, that situation is still ongoing, and I'm just gonna, she did it, and I'm going to let her own that, right? But I can take actions now in my life to ensure that I don't experience things like that. I can continue to choose rather than a reality being chosen for me. So what I did, the phone rules, I created rules for myself, right? Rules like all notifications are always turned off. I'm gonna have an hour in the morning free time. Every hour I can check my phone for business, and I can text people business only during work hours, friends and family after hours, and I can have an hour of free phone time from 4 to 5 p.m. This is me limiting the time, right? So I can go about my real life creating and doing things with that energy that actually produce results in my real reality. I have some exceptions here. Creating content, that's an exception. Sourcing inventory for businesses, that's an exception. Doing real estate stuff, that's an exception. What is absolutely not allowed, there's no media, no social media, divisive social media stuff. There's no CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, BBC, none of that crap, right? No scrolling stuff, no scrolling Instagram, no scrolling, and my Facebook is very, very regulated. I pretty much just do the group. I have about 20 people that I'm friends with or whatever. I wasn't on social media until last year, or Facebook rather. So I don't have a lot of people that I'm friends with or following. Really, it's just a couple real estate people, a few family members that don't post divisive content, and a couple of people in my other business. That's it. So Sunday I have a free day, anything goes. So if I want to update myself on the current events, that is the time. And then I have a list talking about why I'm doing this and why it's time to wake up. And I go over all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to allow my reality to be created for me. I have, I think I said in here, family is broken after taking aggressive actions towards each other because of politics, right? I'm listing the reasons that being overly consumed by social media or divisive content, what sort of effects, what sort of impact this has on my real life, and putting it out there. Also, I escaped to my phone. I use it as a pacifier. So really calling it out and letting it be there. I have both of these hanging up on my fridge, and I read them every morning with my cup of coffee, so I remember why I'm going to limit my time and adhere to my rules for my digital world, right? My virtual world. So I'm going to end this video before it goes on too long. Do you need to manage your virtual reality better? Are you consuming things that aren't good for you? Do you need to take a step back, take some of your time back, work on real parts of your life, like finding your purpose, finding that life partner, finding stuff that's actually going to improve your layer of reality? And now's the time to do it, right? Because stuff's all amplifying in the US with elections coming up. Things are getting crazier. People are talking more and more about going to civil war. And I know personally, I don't want to be a part of that, right? So withdrawing myself now and starting to manage what I allow into my layer of reality, that is exactly how I'm going to do this. So do you need to do this right now? Do you need to manage your layer of reality? How can you do that? What does your list look like? Maybe you could create one and add it to the group to show others, be an inspiration for others. And yes, maybe after this video, you turn your phone off and go and do something in real life. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I hope that you take a few moments in your real reality today to enjoy something that's static, right? That's real. That's what it's really about. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.